All right, guys, so here's the next main question asked, and this is whether they've made up their mind to come out expediting or not. What van do I get? All right, this isn't going to be a video going through the DIMs and all of the particulars of each van that's available. This is just going to be a basic opinionated overview of what you should have in mind when you do decide to buy a vehicle. All right, so with that being said, let's get into it. All right, guys, so you guys got this bright idea. You want to do expediting. You want to haul expedited freight expeditiously across this beautiful country of ours. So you're asking, how do I get into expediting? Then you're asking, what kind of van do I get? Can I use this van? Can I use that van? Well, what about this type of van? Now, these are all questions you should ask, but this kind of goes in line with what I've touched on before. You need to understand why you're being given the answers you're being given. This isn't just a expediting calls for a Ram ProMaster van, so everybody goes and gets a Ram ProMaster van. That's not how this works. There are so many variables when picking out a van as far as to tell you, well, what kind of van do you want? And the reason I say that is because many of you, I don't know if you're even sure if it's courier work or expediting you're wanting to do, because there's a huge difference in courier, what you also be referred to as independent contractor work. That stuff is more local, regional. Expediting, what we do, what I do, is over the road stuff. It's being gone for days or weeks at a time. It's driving wherever the freight takes you. So that's kind of where you guys need to, if you haven't figured that out, that's what you need to figure out before you are worried about what van you get. Now, in courier and independent contractor stuff, where you're delivering medical supplies or mail or just whatever miscellaneous packages, you know, last mile stuff that you're doing, you can get away with a smaller vehicle. The cargo isn't as large, it isn't as heavy, and you're not having to live in your van. So you're not needing as much to do that work. So you can get away with the Transit Connect, depending on the amount of hours you want to work, depending on how, you know, what kind of routes you got. A regular cargo van, an extended cargo van, a box van. So any of those things will work for independent contractor stuff. It's just all dependent on how many routes you're going to run, and as far as what type of material or what type of product you're going to be hauling. So so that needs to be, you know, things you look into. And again, as I said, if those are the types of things that you're looking for, as I said, the expedited side of things, you're not going to get the same answer for the same type of equipment. Now, all the time, people ask, you know, what kind of van I should get. The simple answer, and I've said this before, is the longest, tallest you can get. I don't know if people aren't understanding why I'm saying that. The reason that's being said is because you live in it and you're hauling freight. If you want to maximize both of those, you need the longest, tallest van that keeps you under 10,000 pounds with your empty weight and your payload weight combined. It has to keep you under 10,000 to keep us from having to run logs. I mean, you're out here living in these things. So in a cargo van, it's small. You've got 48 inches on the rear door opening. Inside standing, you have maybe 51 inches. So you're constantly crouched around. You're living in it. Now, let me say this about cargo vans. I did it for 5 years. I know somebody that's been doing it for over 20 years. And if you've never done it, if you've never been outside of a cargo van, it doesn't seem like you're really giving up much by being in a cargo van until you go into a large Sprinter class van, not a Mercedes Sprinter, not a Freightliner Sprinter. All those, they are in that category of Sprinter size, Sprinter class. That would be Ram ProMaster, Ford Transit, Freightliner, and Mercedes Sprinter. They even put the Envies in there, but the Envies, the Nissan Envies, they're not as long. They're only capable of taking 2 skids, which is roughly 96 inches. So the other 3 I mentioned, they have dimensions up to, the Mercedes is up to like 180, I believe. The ProMaster is up to 159, and the Transit is up to, I believe, 164. So if you're in a cargo van, you've got basically, if you get an extended, you got 120 inches in length, 52 inches in between the wheel wells, and then, as I said, 48 inches in the door opening. So that limits you on your freight. Now, it doesn't limit you so much that you can't make money. It's that if you are going to put the money into getting a van, why not take your time, find that right van, the size you need, and get that van to, as I said, maximize your earning potential. And also, you're going to live in these things. You want to live more comfortably, don't you? I mean, if you don't, then by all means, go get yourself a cargo van. Don't make as much as you possibly could, and don't live as comfortably as you want to live, or as you could. So that's the quick and easy to that one. Now, again, when you tell people about the long and tall, they counter with, well, what about this? What if I got this? Long and tall. That's what you want to get. If you want to get anything less than that, and then when you go out there to try to do what you're going to do and it don't work out, guess who you got to blame for that? You got yourself. You was warned, you was told, and as I said, it's for living comfort and to maximize your earnings. And when you get these vans, get what you want them. Make sure you have a cruise control in them. Get some, get the power windows and everything. Make sure you're doing your research on the types of engines. A lot of people ask, gas or diesel. My quick opinion about diesels is just you see a lot of problems with them because the newer model diesels with the DEF systems, they just have so much problems due to the DEF. And then obviously it costs more to repair or maintenance these things when it's time to than a gas. These gas engines have come a long way and they get a shit ton of miles out of them now, so it just doesn't seem, it seems like you're kind of wasting a little money. Unless you're just a diesel guy and you like diesels, you can get away with it. That's just a personal preference. Which brings me to talking about, do you get a Ram? Do you get a Ford? Do you get a Mercedes or a Freightliner? Personal preference. They all have problems. Buddy of mine just put out a video earlier this week, Duncan, Expedite Travels, comparing the vehicles, comparing the vans. It's the same thing. It comes down to personal preference on whether or not you want each one, because they each have their own little problem. My opinion for what value that holds, I think the Ram ProMaster isn't the greatest van. They seem to have the most problems. But as I said, all of them have problems. With the Mercedes and Freightliner Sprinters, you have the issues of getting parts, getting somebody to work on them, the cost of the parts. And then with Ford has seemed to have had an issue with the rear end, and then they had the early on issues with the flex disc in the 15 to 17 models. There's been known turbo issues, things like there's just nickel and dime issues with them as well. But as I said, in my opinion, I think that there's less problems, more reliability, and the cost of repairs and availability of repairs is easiest in a Transit. But again, personal preference. I could be being biased on it because that's what I've owned as Fords, doing this. So to summarize, each one of those vans, the longest and tallest, will suffice you in making money and will do the job that expediting is going to put you out to do. So each one of those vans will work, as far as the Ram ProMaster, the Sprinter, and then the Ford Transit. Now, thing you need to worry about, again, you're asking for the longest and tallest. The Ford Transit has like, I don't know, 4 or 5 different models. There's Transit Connects, there's the low roof, medium roof, You can only get the extended length at 164 inches in the 250 model and the 350 model. The difference in the 250 from the 350 is just basically less payload. I think it's like 500 pounds in less payload between those. So if you're out looking for a van, you're trying to, cut some costs here and there, that's one way to go. Get the 250 rather than the 350 Transit, and you save yourself, I think it's like 1,500, 1,800 bucks in there, and you're not really losing much in payload. That really comes down to how much are you going to build your van out to add on the weight to where that's really going to affect you in the long term. I need a drink, man. You guys got me all thirsty over in this sumbitch, man, all talking and yapping and bitching. All right, with the ProMasters, they also have the short model and the extended. Yeah, as far as I understand, I think that's the only two they have. They have just basically the one that's not extended and then the extended. I don't know if they have different heights. I don't know that offhand. But with the Fords, they do. And as I said, you want to get the tallest one, which the rear door opening is roughly 71 inches below the latch, the rear door latches. Again, the smaller van you get, the less comfort you have and the less freight you can take. Now again, I've talked about in other videos the percentage of the loads that I get that would fit into an extended cargo van, which I believe was 75% of the freight that I got would have fit into a cargo van. So don't take this video as I'm saying you can't make money. You can, but again, you're cutting yourself short. If you're going to go out and make an investment, make the right investment. And one of the most important things when getting a van, take your time and get the right price. Don't just go get a van because you want to hurry up and get a van. I made that mistake. I'm still trying to climb out of that hole that I made as far as being upside down on a loan because of a high percentage, high interest rate, or just overpaying for the vehicle. Research on how to negotiate with the car salesman. Learn all the ins and outs as far as checking out the invoice price. There's a certain calculation. I think it's like 20% you can say that they can take off of that. There's certain things. You want to try to get them at the right time of the month. As far as I understand, they get charged for inventory, when they carry over to the next month. So when you get to the end of the month, if they have a high inventory, they're going to be more motivated to move that vehicle. I'll do a more in-depth video on that. I'm no professional at it whatsoever. I was given advice on how to do that by Jay with Crafty Truckers and my dude Dell, Big D, his channel. So this is something I've learned. I applied it. It definitely works. It makes going in there being a lot more comfortable going in there. And one of the most important things when you're going in to get a van, just to put this quickly out there for you guys, because I don't know when I'll do that other video, is do not let them run your credit and then you go buy a van. Do not. You figure out the price you're going to agree upon, the van you're going to agree upon. Then if you're happy, then you let them run your credit. Don't make, that was where I made the mistake, is I thought, oh man, I just have shit credit. This is what I got, man. Here's all my information. Just tell me what I can get, man. I need a van. Can I get it? Okay, because they'll make it work. And that's how you're going to get a high interest rate. That's how you're going to pay more than what you need to pay for it. So do not let them run your credit. Guys, to summarize this entire video, every van will make you money. But the larger van you get, the more money you can make, because it's just common sense. The larger freight and more freight you can haul. And then on top of it, if you're living over the road in these vans, the bigger van you have, obviously the more personal space you have. In the bigger vans, you can stand up, you can move around. I mean, it's just night and day. I would never, ever, ever want to have to go back to a cargo van now that I've been in a big van that I can stand up in, a Sprinter class van. I just wouldn't do it. I mean, I'd be hard pressed to do it. Now, I know that I can make a few bucks with it, but comfort-wise, man, I mean, you're out here. Like, that's part of making this job work for you, is to be comfortable out here and to enjoy what you're doing. And you're not going to enjoy it if you're miserable. If you're crouched down all the damn time and you don't have any amenities in your vehicle and you're just out here just trying to grind, I mean, that's no way to live out here, man. you're gonna burn out quick, and you're gonna be a miserable MFer, man. Just take your time, find the van that fits you, and be comfortable, man. Be able to make the most you can make, because a lot of the more reputable, more, I don't know how to put it, just the carriers that have some standards are going to be a little pickier on the vans, which they're going to, you know, they're going to require a certain size, a certain weight capacity, because the reason they're able to get that premium rate is because they're offering a more premium service, so to speak. They know that all their vehicles are going to haul a certain weight, that they can handle a certain size, and they don't have to worry about, oh, well, we got this one over here. Ah, shit, I got to check the dims. Oh, shit, that don't fit. You know, there's less of that. So there's less shit time for your dispatchers doing stuff they shouldn't be doing, as far as having to check on these things, call you, check the dims, all that good stuff, and more time that they're able to try and negotiate and get you freight and get you loaded and get you rolling. So all of these things play in together, man. It ain't just a simple, get a big van because it's gonna make more money. That's not the reason for it, okay? It's for all the other things I said. It all comes to play together, and you're gonna be happy that you got the van if you get a big one. All right, enough yapping. I'm out. You guys be good, and yeah, hope to see you guys out there expediting expeditiously, man. Be safe.